There are no secrets to success, just things you haven't learned yet. And once you learn them, it's up to you to apply them. I'm Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, Billboard-charting hip-hop artist and music business coach. Join me as we talk digital marketing, social media, technology, and more, and share interviews with industry professionals to help you unlock the secrets and take control of your music career. Because we are the new music business, and this is the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast. What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Indie Musician Secrets Podcast. I am your host, Jamaal, aka Boss Eagle, Billboard charting hip hop artist and music business coach at Business Minded Musicians. I want to welcome you to this episode. This is episode 10. Woohoo! I'm so excited that we have made it to 10 episodes. If you have been with us from the beginning, thank you so much. If you're just now listening in for the first time, thank you so much as well. I enjoy doing this podcast and helping independent musicians be able to take control of their music career and get paid to do what you love. So if you like what we're doing here, continue to listen to the podcast. Don't forget to also download, rate, review, all that good stuff. It all helps us to continue to move this thing forward. So without further ado, we're going to jump into today's topic, which is why and how to network as a musician. This is a topic that has also come up several times on my survey as well. And I want to talk about why networking is important. You know, when you think about any type of professional organization, whether it's, dentists or teachers or whatever have you, a lot of times the importance of networking can mean the difference in them growing their business or not. A lot of realtors and mortgage brokers, they'll go to networking events. There's a lot of professional organizations that have networking events as well, or conferences, conventions. And it's important to network because a lot of times either you're in a place where you can learn from other people who are doing the same thing as you. You can sometimes have the opportunity to learn from people who are in different areas than you, but who can help you grow in your business. And so networking is hugely important. And we as musicians, we need to make sure that we're also taking advantage of opportunities to do that as well, because we're not. I've heard it said before. We're not in the music business. We're in the people business, and I think you could say the same thing about film or art or real estate or whatever it is, right? You're in the business of people, and having those connections, building those networks, building those bridges a lot of times can help you to advance your career forward, help you discover new things. So it's highly important for us to be networking, whether that's on a smaller scale or a larger scale. And so the thing that you want to ask yourself, you want to kind of start with when you're thinking about networking, is why do you want to network? Like what is your goal, or what are your goals? Is it to find people to collaborate with? Is it to find producers? Are you looking for more business, more on the business side of things? Where you're looking for networks, partnerships in that sense, whether it's management or something like that. And there's this. It's not to say that there's any right or wrong answer per se. You just have to know what your goals are. You have to know why it is that you want to network. Why are you trying to build your network? And there's some great ways to do that. Some simple things, like there are different communities and sites online. There's obviously places like LinkedIn, which are great as well, using social media. But um, once you kind of think about that and ask yourself, why do you want to network? What are your goals? Then, you want to think about, who do you want to network with, right? Again, as I was kind of mentioning earlier, who are those people that it makes sense for you to network with right now as you're trying to grow your career, or wherever it is that you are, whatever phase you're in of your music career. And one of the processes that I've heard a lot about, and in fact I actually do this, is to create a dream 100. And a Dream 100, you've probably heard me talk about this before, either on this podcast or on YouTube videos. But a Dream 100 is basically you're listing out 100 people that you want to be in their world. You want them to be in your world, ideally, but for you to enter into their world. And if that Dream 100, if you as an artist, if that Dream 100 consists all of other artists you want to work with, great. If it consists of producers you want to work with, great. It could be 100 bloggers that you want to be featured on their blog. It could be a combination of those things. It could be 25 artists you want to work with, 25 producers, 25 bloggers, and 25 podcasts, right, that you want to appear on. Um, and the thing that I would say is don't get caught up in the number 100. I think that's the ideal. That's the goal, is to get to 100. But even if you just have 20 or 25 or 50 right now, that's fine too. Don't get hung up on, well, I don't have 100 people, so I can't start my list. No, that's not the case at all. Just start to create a list of people that you want to be in their world. Find those people that you would love to partner with, collaborate with, work with, to move closer into having that person be in your network. Again, that could include other artists, producers, managers. It could be, video directors. Maybe you've seen somebody, you're like, oh my word, like I really love these 10 video directors, and I'd love to work with them one day. So start to create a Dream 100, and really just make a list. Just start listing out who those people are. Um, and so, but just remember that networking, it does require an investment. Okay, this is one of those things that I remember when I worked as a resident assistant in college. I was an RA, and we used to tell students all the time, the opportunities are there, but nobody's going to come knocking on your door to be like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" or "Hey, do you want to be involved in that?" You're going to have to get up, get out there, send an email, pick up the phone, et cetera, et cetera. It is going to require an investment, and one of those investments that networking does require is time, right? Again, if you go back to networking events that are happening in your community, or maybe in a major city, those people have to go. They have to take time out of their day. They got to take time off of work sometimes, or take time away from other things to go and be a part of that networking event. So it is going to require some of your time. Now, you are the only one who can decide how much of that time you want to invest into it. But just know that it is going to require time. And so a couple of things that you can do, in terms of that time perspective, is one is you can just take that Dream 100, and you can start joining their email lists, going to those people's websites, going to their landing pages, find out how you can access and start getting into their world. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to join their email list. And then that way you're also getting correspondence, you're getting information, and whatever it is that they send out, that's going to come right into your inbox. So that's a perfect kind of semi-passive way to start to get into their world and start to quote unquote network, right? Another thing you can do is follow them on social media and start engaging on their socials. Not simply just following them, but engaging. When they post something, respond to the post, like it, comment, share their things, tag them on stuff. And then that way it starts to show them that you're invested, and that you're engaging with what they're doing. Now, they may not necessarily pick you out of a lineup and be like, "Hey, come join me on stage," or whatever. But at least you're starting to engage and be more than just a follower. You're looking at having more of that networking, more of that business partnership. And then another thing that you can do in terms of time is start listening to other people's podcasts. Find those people, those Dream 100 folks, and start listening to their podcasts, listening to the things that they put out, and start to really get an idea and a sense of who they are, what their message is, and how they kind of go about things. And in that way, that gives you even more of an idea of an approach that you can take, because you know more about them. If you reach out to them, you can say, "Hey, I loved this podcast episode when you talked about X, Y, and Z," right? And then the other thing to remember too is networking is going to require money. It's not only going to require time, but it's going to require an investment of your money. And so, you may want to consider for those Dream 100, consider buying their products, their courses. Do they put something out? Does that producer that you would love to work with, if you're a producer, let's say, or you're an artist, like, do they have a beat pack? Or um, is there something that you can do that gets you a little bit closer, like I said, into their world? So buying their products, courses, and then also attending events and conferences and expos. Now, this is going to require time and money to attend events and conferences, etc. But this is one of the best places that you can network, because these are going to be all types of people there. So, for example, you have the Launch Music Expo, which happens in Pennsylvania, which I think is actually, as of today, just about to start. There's the A3C Music Conference in Georgia. That's a big hip hop conference. There's the ASCAP Expo. ASCAP is one of the big PROs, or performance rights organizations, here in the US. That happens in California. And so they'll have people there from all types of, in all walks of the music industry. There'll be artists there, producers. There are people who come to these conferences that come from other areas of the industry, that give sessions, and talk about different things that are going on. So this could be a great place to go, start creating those lists, start going to those sessions and finding out who these people are. And then you can, reach out to them later and say, hey, I saw your session at the ASCAP Expo or the CD Baby conference, and I would love to connect with you, et cetera, et cetera. So just know that networking is going to require an investment of your time and your money. And so kind of maybe take a step back, take inventory, see what it is that you want to do or need to do right now, and then start to move forward. So just to kind of wrap up, ask yourself these questions, as you're kind of thinking through, networking and how you want to do this. You want to ask yourself, how serious are you about building your network? Because if you're not serious about that, I would honestly say don't waste people's time. Don't just have people, coming in just to be there. Make sure that you're serious about it. I don't think, have to necessarily have a project like right there ready to go, but make sure that you're serious about getting to work, because when you're networking with these other people, they're probably serious, and you don't want to seem like you're a flake and stuff like that. um, the other thing to ask yourself is, how much time and money are you willing and able to invest? You'll hear a lot of times people say, take massive action, take massive action. And I look at it as, take appropriate massive action. Make sure the action is appropriate for where you are and what you're able to do. Okay. Don't overextend yourself. I know some people will say, like, oh, I spent my last dollar, and, don't take food off your table to go to a conference. Like, that just doesn't make sense. But ask yourself, does that conference have a virtual component? Maybe I can't go to LA, or maybe I can't travel to that place, but maybe they have a virtual component and I can sign up and it's a lot cheaper, and I don't have to, have a plane ticket and hotel and all that stuff too. And then lastly, again, going back to that, being serious about building your network, is ask yourself, are you ready to get to work if and when those opportunities arise? Just make sure that you are presenting yourself as a professional, as a business person, so that when those opportunities arise, you're at least able to start having those initial conversations. Okay. So with that, I want to start doing a new thing. Each episode, we're going to have an action item. So I want you to be able to walk away from these podcast episodes with an actionable step that you can take to move you one step closer to building your music career. So the action item for episode 10, our first action item, is to start building your Dream 100. Start building your Dream 100. Make a list of these people. Again, think about who you are, where you are, who you want to work with, and start making a list of those people. And if you're an artist, and let's say you want to build a Dream 100 list of other artists you want to work with, I would look across the board. I would find some people who are local, who are in your immediate area, some people who are just barely ahead of where you are now. You can look at their Instagram and Spotify and see where they are. Start adding some of those people, start adding some mid-range people, but also have some of those shoot for the moon people as well, some of those big name artists that are on your list, that that dream artist that one day, like, hey, I'd love to work with them. And just know that this Dream 100 is ongoing and it's fluid and all that stuff too. So it's not like you're stuck to this Dream 100. It can constantly evolve. You can have more than one Dream 100 for different things. So, but the idea is just to start making a list. Go follow those people on social media, start following their socials. I have an episode of the podcast that we put out a couple weeks ago that talks about doing a social media reset. If you want to go back and listen to that, you can do that as well. But start to follow these people on social media and then join their email lists. Join their email lists. So again, you can start getting some of their messaging, some of their correspondence right in your inbox, and it'll give you more of an idea of who they are, where they're coming from, and how you can, how you can approach them when you're ready to approach them going down the road. So action item for today is to start building your Dream 100 list, make a list of those people, follow them on socials, and then join their email list. All right. So I want to say thank you all for joining me on today's episode 10. If you have any topics you'd like to discuss, send me an email to questions@indiemusiciansecrets.com. Don't forget to rate and review this episode. And as always, please share the podcast with anyone that you think this would be beneficial for. All right. God bless you guys, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to follow the Indie Musician Secrets podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen, and make sure to leave us a rating and review. Also, share this episode with other indie musicians you think it would be beneficial for. And for more helpful resources to help you grow your music business, visit us at businessmindedmusicians.com. I hope this episode has served you. We'll talk to you on the next episode.